New bearing installed. Old bearing out. Alright, so after doing several trips off-road, doing some trail riding, nothing too extreme, but a little bit, come home, was working under the Jeep, cleaning all the mud out from underneath it, and I found this universal joint right here in the axle shaft was actually shifting up and down. So we went and replaced it, and I'm going to give you a quick tutorial of how we did that. Stay tuned. Now, unfortunately, I got very little video of how we did this, so I'm going to do a lot of this just showing you what we did here. To start, pull the wheels and tires off. Alright, next we got to take the brakes off. Pull these two bolts out down here and here. Pull the caliper off. Then you can take the mounting bolts off, which are big ones here, big ones here. Take the caliper, zip tie it up here to the frame rail. That way it's out of the way, and then take the brake line off. Now obviously, with the tire already off, you've now taken the brake caliper off. Now you're going to pull the brake disc, the rotor, pull it off, get it out of the way. Then there'll be a 36mm nut here in the center you got to take loose for the hub, and also the ABS wire on the back side of the hub. Alright. While I'm rotating my tires, good time to show you what I was talking about with the axle change. This is your nut right here you got to take off to pull the shaft out for the axle. It's 36mm. Get a good view at the brake disconnect points here and here, top and bottom. Tie rod disconnect point is here. Here's your routing for your ABS wire. So there you go. And of course, all that goop right there, that's anti-seize. Put anti-seize on that. You'll thank yourself if it breaks down on the trail. All right. Also, you got to take this ABS sensor here off. This sensor here is your ABS wire. Kind of snakes up through here, runs down through here. Just pull that off, get out of the way, give you some room to play with. Then, tie rod here. Take the tie rod off. It'll give you some room to work. With all that said and done, you've already taken the nut off of the axle front. Now, you can take these right here. These 3 bolts, 2 here and one more back here in the back. That's what holds your hub in. Pull those bolts out. Now you can take the hub off. All right, with the hub removed, gently grab the axle shaft, have the wheel straight, not turned like I do right now. Pull the axle shaft out very gently. There's a seal right here. You don't want to cut that seal, so you got to kind of put your hand here and support the weight so you're not putting all the weight on that seal on that side. Pull the axle shaft out and take it and set it on a table so you can pull the universal joint out of the axle. First, you got to pop the C-clips that retain these caps for the universal joint. Now, this is the first vehicle I have ever done that used C-clips. Actually, this is the first axle I've ever changed the universal joint is. You use these joints here in drive shafts and PTO shafts, and that's where I've changed them before. I had never changed one before in an axle, and first time I'd ever seen a C-clip. Usually you have a snap ring on the outside up here. But I don't know if this is common for axle shafts or this is just a Jeep thing, but either way, there's a C-clip on this side holding the cap on top of a universal joint. New bearing installed, Old bearing out. Went back with Spicer. These are really good off-road ones. That's the part number right there for the Jeep. Alright, this is a universal joint. While it's inside there, you got to pop the caps off using a press. These are pressed in, so C-clips go in this groove right here, all four sides. These here are the C-clips that you're actually removing to hold this in. Once you take it, you press it to one side, pull the C-clip off, take your press, you push it to the other side, pull that C-clip out. Now, you can press this out and pull the caps off. Caps will come off like it. If you look down the side, there are roller bearings on the inside. You do not want to lose those roller bearings. You do not want them roller bearings to come loose. You don't want any crud getting on this. This is the actual bearing that does everything. Get the caps off all four sides. And now, with them off, you can now pull this out. Installation is reverse of the removal. First thing you want to do, take all four caps off these. Set them right side up very gently. You don't want the roller bearing to fall out. Set them up like that. With all four off, you press it into your axle shaft. And then, take your bearing, put one side on first. Set it down in there, and then you take the other side. Press it in, get your clip in. You can press the other side down, get that clip in. Now you'll have two clips in your axle shaft. You'll get the other piece out, the other part of the shaft that goes through your hub. You attach it on, you put the clips in it, press them in. You may have to press it side to side to line up to put the C-clips in. So you'll press it like you'll press it this way, and this C-clip will be exposed. Put that C-clip in. Then put the press and press it over this way. Now you can see this C-clip. You put that one in. Now you're straight. At that point, your axle shaft is put back together. Now you can reinstall it in the Jeep. But just like when you remove the axle shaft, you have to support the weight. You do not want to cut the seal that's inside your differential. That's actually what protects the oil, keeps the oil in, and keeps anything that does go in the axle tube, it prevents it from going in there with the differential. Once you put that axle back in, just reassemble everything, reverse order of how you took it off. Put your hub back on, reattach your ABS sensor, put your rotor back on, do your routing for your ABS sensor, put your nut on, tighten your axle shaft nut down, put your tie rod back on. Brakes, if your rotor's on, put your brakes back on. Then you can put your wheel and tire back on. Then